what's on the docket today is I've been dealing with some problems after my bike crash, and my derailleur and everything else is kind of getting a little out of whack, so I'm probably going to have to do some repairs on this thing soon, but I cannot sacrifice training, so I've got it jimmy rigged the best I could. I have it in a good position, I feel like. So I'm going to take it out on a little ride today. It's going to be a 68-kilometer ride where I'm going to Sydney, down Lochside Drive, and then I'm going to come back on West Saanich Road. Now, the first time I rode out to Sydney was Lochside back to Lochside, just back and forth, and I believe it was 24.9 kilometers an hour average. The second time I rode out there with a group, I went out with a group of 5. We got out to Sydney on Lochside Drive, and then we came back on West Saanich Road. And I came back on West Saanich Road. I still had a lot of gas in the tank. The guy that I was riding with was winding down, so I didn't want to drop him. My average kilometers an hour on that ride were 23 kilometers an hour. So now today will be my third time going out. I'm going out solo, and the main focus today is just consistency. I'm going to try to get my kilometers an hour up over 25 kilometers an hour for a 68 kilometer ride. And I will maybe make a video from the road and let you guys know what's going on, how things are going. I did my first ride since my wipeout yesterday, where I finally hit a 25 kilometer hour average. It was only for a 25 kilometer ride, but I felt really good. I'm starting to trust my bike again, which is kind of a little bit of an issue. I've been having some trust issues with the bike. I've been scared to wipe out and stuff like that. So it's just a mechanical failure that was going on with my bike. So I know between now and the Tour de Victoria, I'm going to have to spend some money trying to make sure my bike's not gonna fuck up. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm probably just gonna go bust my ass at work, save up a little bit of money over the next week or two, and who knows, I might just end up going and buying a whole new group set. Maybe I might get a Shimano 105 group set. It's something that's been in my mind. If I'm going to upgrade one thing, I might as well upgrade it all. So yeah, here's to hoping, and I'll let you guys know what happens from the trail. Okay. So here we are in Sydney. I feel like I crushed all my PRs. This ride felt like it was a lot easier than it has been in the past. So I'm gonna stop here, I'm gonna eat an apple, drink some water, get some carbs into me, and then I'm gonna map my way back through West Saanich Road, which last time was challenging, but we're gonna try to see if we can't beat all my PRs. All right, I will touch base with you from the other side. Okay. Woke up from my nap. Basically, I got back. I got back a while back. I was so tired that I just ended up passing out for a little bit. Drink lots of water and fueled up and ate a bunch of food and stuff. So yeah, it's a good day, honestly. Like, since my wipeout, I've had a lot of time to recover, and probably some recovery that was necessary, to be honest, because my system was probably being taxed from so much riding and everything else. So it took a little time to recover. My bike was pretty good today. It didn't have any mechanical issues. I'm starting to trust my bike more again. So the goal today was to beat all my PRs on that run. So it's a fairly flat run. Like if you go to Saanich down Lochside Road, it's basically straight. It's flat, it's straight. You know, you have a lot of good opportunity to put some power down. And the first time I went out there, I went down Lochside, flat, straight, you know, and then came back Lochside, flat, straight. And I believe my kilometers an hour average was 24 the first time I ever went there. That was honestly probably my first big ride that I did. It's funny because now I don't even think it's a big ride. I think it's just kind of a couple hour gig. And then the second time I went out there with a group, and the group advertised a 25 kilometer an hour average. So I jumped on. Needless to say, we ended up dropping a couple other people, me and this other gentleman that was riding with us. We ended up dropping a couple people there because I wasn't getting a very good exercise. So I do believe some of my kilometers an hour average on that ride was a little bit hindered based on other people being a factor. And then coming back down West Saanich Road that day, we came down West Saanich Road that day, and it took on a lot more hills, and it's a really nice roller coaster of a ride. Like in my mind, I was like, that day I was being hampered by the other guy I was riding with too, because he was really exhausted, and I took over the lead to take some wind off of him, and I ended up dropping him. Didn't really mean to. I was kind of just riding along. Looked behind me, he's gone. So then I waited for him, and he caught back up. So needless to say, my kilometers an hour average that day was 23. And I was not happy about it. So I came home after that 63 kilometer ride, and I ended up going out for another 35 on my own. And, you know, because I just didn't really feel like I got a good workout. So this time around, I just went by myself, and had it in my mind right from the very beginning that I was gonna press this one. I want to get my kilometers an hour average up. I want to get, you know, I want to see consistency. So the whole plot was to just keep my cadence, you know, keep my pressure, get my power consistent, not use my small sprocket at all, stay in my top gears, and just use power the whole way, just bang, 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 you know, steady consistency. And I did that. You know, it's a good ride to do that because it's just flat, most of it. So, needless to say, it's a happy day. So I get back home, and my Strava app is telling me that I completed that ride in 2 hours and 14 minutes at 63 kilometers. My average speed jumped up to 28 kilometers an hour flat, which I've never done a ride that long with that high of an average. Yeah, I have done rides that are shorter with like 29, you know, kilometers an hour, 29 point something kilometers an hour, but we're talking like a 20 kilometer ride there, you know, 20 kilometer ride. I hit a 29 before, but like anything that's substantial, 63 kilometers, it's a monumental or exponential growth, in my opinion. So 28 kilometers an hour average, I do believe it bumps me up into a different category, and I also think that the journey has been just learning how to attack hills, hills that I know that I can conquer, or hills that I know that I can complete in one fell swoop. I just come in with as much speed as possible and I attack them. in a heavy gear. And as soon as it gets hard, I just gear down one gear and I stand up and I just pound the rest of the hill out. That way I'm carrying more speed to the top of the hill and I don't need to take so much of a break when I get up there. I could just kind of slowly keep pedaling, try to keep I gear down a couple more times when I hit to the crest. And I try to carry that speed over into the downhills or into the flats. And I'm still carrying enough speed that I don't have to restart again, when I get to the crest of a hill. So what I'm starting to realize is the more speed that I carry all the way through, the easier these hills become. And West Saanich Road is actually starting to become a little bit like a roller coaster. It has a lot of turns, it has a lot of hills going down, and has a lot of hills going up. They're not unsurmountable hills. They're not massive. They are challenging, but like if you attack them from the very bottom of these hills, you can attack them hard. And there's a couple of hills there where it gets me pretty good, but nothing that keeps me out of my top gears. So I'm pretty happy, pretty stoked about that. I don't know what the next ride's going to be. I definitely have to go to work tomorrow. But yeah. If there's any cyclists watching this, I'd like to hear your comments. If you have any tips or trade secrets, let me know, because I just want to continue to get better and better, and then kind of with my personal training aspect, maybe I could turn this around into something that hey, if you want to do this, I could help you get there. I have experience doing it and whatever else. I'm kind of falling down this rabbit hole where cycling is just kind of becoming a part of what I'm about. I did a deadlift session in the gym yesterday, and my deadlift is still strong. Like, I'm not losing power, I'm not losing strength. I'm losing weight, but that's because I'm cutting calories here and there. Basically, my breakfast right now look like 1,000 to 1,100 calories for breakfast, and then the rest of the day I'm just hitting my chicken and rice, broccoli, with a heavy dose of protein. So that in the morning it's all carb focused. In the morning it's oatmeal, it's cantaloupe, it's all kinds of fruit, a couple glasses of milk, a lot of fats will be in there, toast, couple slices of whole grain toast with peanut butter. There's a tablespoon of peanut butter into the oatmeal. These are the things that I'm focusing on in the mornings. I'm eating tons of pineapple, tons of fruit, just lots of energy sources. And then I go for my rides, and I'm trying to fuel myself for those rides really, really effectively. And today it proved very, very effective. And then the rest of the day, like I said, I just continue on my schedule with my regular routine, with my regular meals that have 55 grams of protein, and basically I'm looking at 185 grams of chicken and 150 grams of rice. I'm still doing that. My calories, I try to keep them at 3250 right now, and I also keep a monitor on my expenditure. I would really like to be able to have a better tracking system for my progress. I would love to get a power meter or something like that for my bike so that I could actually analyze where the power's coming from, how it's coming. That would be awesome. Right now my Fitbit is kind of malfunctioning. Like the heart rate monitor just seems to choose when it wants to work and when it doesn't. So I haven't even been using it on my rides at all, because it starts to make my Strava app, it doesn't work. So basically all I have to go on is is how I'm feeling. I'm basically using my feeling and making sure that I'm pushing through things while I'm on the bike. Like when I'm feeling pain or when I'm feeling this, I'm just like avoiding feeling it. I'm just like kind of tuning it out and just kind of pushing through and having a lot of good positive self-talk during the ride. And that's kind of seems to help push me through, but we don't always have that. I don't always have that ability to lock in. You know, it doesn't happen every time. It's happening more frequently, but sometimes when I get a little complacent or I have the negative self-talk, I'll downshift too much, you know, make things easier or whatever. Whereas like if I continue to keep pushing and pressing and having goals, like, so my kilometers an hour average right now is kind of where the goal stands. But then when I go ride a road like Munn Road or whatever, how do I even compare the kilometers an hour average there to the kilometers an hour average on the ride I did today? It's not really comparable. But you know, when I do the Munn Road now, my kilometers an hour are getting higher there. So each individual route, I just look at my kilometers an hour. I don't think about how fast I ride on every route. I just think about, okay, this route, my average is 24 kilometers an hour on this route every time. So that route, I want to try to beat that average on that route. And then this route, I'm going to try to beat that average on this route, you know. And that's kind of basically how I've been trying to monitor my progress, which has been nothing short of it's been my progress has been substantial, you know. So yeah, I appreciate you guys listening. I'm gonna finish eating